South African National Roads Agency, SANRAL, says it will no longer pursue criminal action against motorists with outstanding e-toll debt. The decision follows complaints from motorists who received summons to appear in court for outstanding fees. SANRAL says its decision follows an initiative led by President Cyril Ramaphosa to address the e-toll payment impasse. And for more on this story now, we are now joined on the line by Wayne Duvenage. He's CEO of OUTA, which is the organization undoing tax abuse, and he joins us now on the line. Mr. Duvenage, good afternoon to you. Thank you so much for coming through. Your reaction to the latest developments?
Yes, thank you. Firstly, it is good news, but it's not a halting, a full-stop halting of the chasing of debt and e-toll debt. This is only a suspension by SANRAL, and we must be very careful not to put the message out there that this is the end of e-tolls. The process of collecting debt has been put on ice until, as you are correctly saying, Cyril Ramaphosa tries to find an impasse or a solution to the impasse on the e-toll debt. They could lift the suspension at any time. They could continue with this collection. So it's not over until the decision to rescind the e-toll, the declaration of Gauteng freeways as toll roads is taken.
It certainly is still not over, but I suppose the question is, should motorists still be concerned and worried? Because SANRAL issued a statement saying that this decision will constantly be monitored and reviewed according to prevailing circumstances. So, as you said, it's not yet over.
Yes, it isn't over. Look, I do believe that this is good news. This is a sign or a signal that sanity is starting to prevail. You must remember that when government ceases or puts brakes on a decision like this and then tries to restart it again, especially a failed one like e-tolls, it's very, very difficult to start it up again. So we think the end is nigh, but we must remain vigilant. We must continue to be disobedient to the payment of e-tolls because it is an irrational, poorly made decision. The public are winning this fight, and it's a good message to government to involve society when it makes decisions like this and rule in the best interest of the public, not to do this again.
Now, just remind our viewers here who was to be affected by this entire matter, because it talks about historic debt. It's not anything new, but it talks to historic debt.
Yeah, so what they're saying is that anyone who's in debt with e-tolls, they're not going to start chasing them. Now, chasing them means you've got to go through a legal process. The first thing is the issuing of summonses. Then the next thing is to take those matters to court. We are in court. We are building the case. We are at an advanced stage on the test case with SANRAL on this matter. So we now need clarity. Is this case also put on hold because there are lawyers that are working on these matters? There are summonses that are still en route. So it's just putting the legal process of collecting debt on hold. No more default judgments, no more blacklisting happens until the e-toll decision is thought about and decided on once again. But they've made this decision over and over and over again. It's actually become a big mess for government now.
Yeah. But you also have people who have been abiding and paying their e-tolls. So what happens to them? Should they stop paying theirs maybe now?
Well, if I were them, I'd stop paying because the signs are, things are coming to an end. But we get the question often, will they be refunded? They're not going to be refunded because SANRAL hasn't been billing them unlawfully. Those people have just decided instead of to cross the line of the law, like 75% of people have done to not pay, they decided to take the safe option and pay. They won't be refunded. The big question is SANRAL going to be able to collect the 11 billion rand outstanding debt from the public? We don't think that that's ever going to happen. But we do need to find a solution to finance roads, because what we're not saying is that we don't want to pay for infrastructure. We have to pay for it.
Yeah, indeed. That was my next question, to say, how hopeful are you that the impasse will be solved by President Cyril Ramaphosa, or rather, how hopeful are you that he will sort of do away with the e-tolls? I mean, we've heard Gauteng Premier David Makhura saying that he believes that the president will be able to come up with something. Then the question would be, who will then fund the infrastructure?
Well, Yeah, I mean, so as infrastructure doesn't fall out the sky. Either it's financed by the public somehow through taxes, and we've always said there's existing mechanisms in place, grants that are given by Treasury to SANRAL to pay for roads. The government Treasury is fed through the fuel levy, which is now 3 times the size it was when the e-toll decision was taken. So the money is there. It's how do you apportion it? This is small in the greater schemes of some of the debt that we have at SABC, at SAA, at Eskom, and so forth. So there are solutions, I can assure you of that. But the e-toll one is the worst decision they could have made, and that decision needs to be rescinded. All
right, time constraints. Mr. Duvenage, we'll leave it at that. Thank you so much for coming through. Wayne Duvenage is CEO of OUTA, which is Organisation Undoing Tax Abuse, giving their reaction to the latest developments.